Hello, every pony. This is Silver Soul. I'm actually getting quite annoyed at my recording video maker thing. It's being stupid. It's recording fine, but it's having an issue with the playback, so I have to record everything and then go back and play through it on Windows Media Player to find out what's actually working. Yeah, I use Windows stuffs. Get over it. You're not the one having to deal with the stuff. Anyway, back more on topic. Reading Chapter 6 of When Friendship Dies by Strawberry Dashie. There's an author's note here. Appreciate favorites I've gotten on the story. Sorry about the update taking so long. Remember to review if you don't like it. Don't say much, just like it or something, but I want to know what you really think. Okay, basically, author's note, just asking for people to let them know if they're enjoying it. Okay. So, here we go. Chapter 6, Night Studies. The rest of the day was great. Twilight was happy to have new friends who weren't as great as her old ones, but good to take her mind off of things. They certainly seemed friendly enough. She spent most of the day chatting with Princess Celestia and answering questions from the class when the teacher was busy. She was glad the class seemed to accept her, not even caring if she was their age. Wait, not even caring if they're... If this is the Lyra, then isn't Twilight Lyra's age? And I'm pretty sure, who was it? Twinkle. Wasn't she the one who invited Twilight to Moondancer's party? And isn't Twinkle also Twilight's age? It's just the way it looked in the episode. Anyway, eventually school was let out, and Twilight followed them out after saying goodbye to the princess. She followed Minuet. I don't even know how to say her name. Minuet until they reached the main road. The blue unicorn smiled at her. Hey, Twilight, want to come over? Amethyst and Lyra will be there, too. I'm sure my parents wouldn't mind. Sorry, I've got a lot of studying to do, Twilight smiled, pointing to the saddlebags that carried many books from Princess Celestia's classrooms. You know, with all the new things we're learning tomorrow, it's best to get a head start. Minuet laughed, waving goodbye. That's the Twilight I know. See you tomorrow. She walked away, and Twilight smiled after her. It seemed Minuet was going to be one of her new friends, her new best friend. Twilight couldn't help but miss her old friends, however. She couldn't forget them, no matter how hard she tried. She sighed, heading into the sculpture gardens and taking out a book on physics and unicorn science. Chapter 1. What do they even have to do with each other? It's exactly what I was thinking. Twilight smiled and chuckled. Sounds like something Rainbow Dash would say. Yep. She read the book all the way through, looking up to see the sun setting. But she still had so many more books to read. Oh well, I guess it'll be some late-night studying for me, she thought, heading to the castle and finding the staircase leading to the archives. Sleeping spell, sleeping spell. I wonder if these are categorized by author, subject, or title. She stopped and glared at all the shelves. Why did it have to be so big in here? Why couldn't there be any signs pointing you where to go? I still think sleeping spell is not a good idea to cast on yourself, but that's just me. Spike, if only you were here right now, Twilight sighed, wishing for her assistant. He always knew exactly where any book was. Oh, what am I going to do? She said, heading down one aisle, then another, then another. After searching a while, she came across a book that held maps of the castle. She spread it out in front of her, searching for the archive. Soon she found a map of each aisle in the archive. She jumped up and smiled, making the book hover in front of her as she hurried deeper into the archives. Best Young Flyer competition? No. Elements of Harmony? Twilight stopped, the book dropping. She picked it up and stared at it. On the page, it showed there was a whole section on the elements, the ponies who had used them, and the villains they defeated. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Twilight's head began rushing with images, which she shook away. Calm down, Twilight. It's just something that everybody knows about. Nothing special. But she turned and went back to that aisle anyway, taking out a book on the ponies who own the elements, and one of the description of each element and why it's important. Staring at the cover of the first book, she couldn't stop the tears again. They silently fell to the archive floor as she saw a picture of her friends all together with her in the middle, all of them smiling and laughing. How it used to be. Twilight pushed both of them into her saddlebag and went to find the spell book she was looking for. After getting it, she ran up and out of the archives, glad to be away from the overwhelming place for a while. In Luna's bedroom, her bed had never looked so welcoming, but she couldn't sleep just yet. Luna was asleep. It was the perfect time to do it. She pulled the first element book out of the bag and opened it. That came out weird. She pulled the first element book out of the bag and opened it. There we go. The Elements of Harmony, she read out loud to herself. Flipping to each page, she saw picture after picture of her friends. First was herself, and it described a brief history of her life and how her friendships were made. Next was Applejack, also including the history and how she met all of her friends. It showed who she was closest to and her family, and a lot of pictures of her with other ponies. And so it went on, with each one, kindness, laughter, generosity, and loyalty. Eventually the book was over, and Twilight read it again. And again. And it was only when Luna awoke did she realize tears were streaming down her face. Luna asked her what was wrong, and Twilight just shook her head. "Do you want to talk to me about something?" Luna said, stepping toward her. "No, I'm sorry I woke you up," Twilight said, closing the book and putting it away, then pulling out the other one. "I'll try to be more quiet. It wasn't you, Twilight, it was my alarm clock." Oh! Twilight's been reading a while. The alicorn pointed to a clock beside her bed. "It's morning. Have you been up all night?" Twilight looked outside and saw the moon was ready to go down. "Oh my gosh! You have, haven't you?" Luna said quietly, frowning at her. "Why?" "I was just reading." "I'm worried about you, Twilight," Luna whispered. "Do you want to go to bed?" "Yeah," Twilight said, actually feeling a little tired. "Okay. I'll tell Tia that you're under the weather and won't be going to school. I'll come check on you later, and I want you to have gotten some sleep, okay?" she said, pulling back the blankets on Twilight's bed. "Thanks, Luna," Twilight smiled weakly, crawling in and closing her eyes. Luna pulled the blankets up and pushed her friend's hair out of her eyes, then walked to the door, closing it as she left. Twilight pulled the book from her bag after the door closed and began reading the other book about elements. It told how each element was discovered, why they were used, and how the owners of them had used them to defeat Nightmare Moon, and how each of them had been corrupted by discord. She finished within 30 minutes and sighed, putting it away. "I miss you guys," Twilight said. "I miss you all so much." Okay. 2 small things. First one, Sculpture Garden. Discord. I'm sorry, she's been going into the Sculpture Garden. They've mentioned the Sculpture Garden way too much without having mentioned Discord in there, because the end of this chapter, being corrupted by Discord, that's the first time they've mentioned Discord. She's been going in that Sculpture Garden way too much. There has to be something up with Discord in this. She's been going in that Sculpture Garden way too much. I don't know. We'll find out. Other thing, I just don't get the whole Luna. This is a personal thing. I just don't get the whole Celestia Tia nickname thing. I understand it. I just don't. It just doesn't work for me. Just a personal thing. Just thought I'd throw that in there because I felt like it. And you don't know where I live, so if I upset you, you can't really come do anything to me. Yeah, you can stop listening to my channel. I guess you can do that. Oh well. Looks like we're about to hit 10 minutes, so probably gonna try and end this now. Leave comments, questions, concerns, what's not below. Anything's welcome, just don't be rude about it, and try not to spam. The next chapter will be up at some point. I have Life Beyond Ponies, sadly, so maybe not soon. See you later, everybody.